Hello, welcome to part 2 of filling out your common application, and we're moving into the activities section. So what's really cool about these colleges that use the common application is that they will get to learn more about who you are and the things that you're involved in based on this activities section. So you'll have up to 10 different activities to list in the common application. And then these colleges also get to know you a little bit more personally through the essay, which is the writing section, and we'll cover that in this video. So for the activities section, it says, reporting activities can help colleges better understand your life outside of the classroom. Examples of activities might include arts or music, clubs, community engagement, family responsibilities, hobbies, sports, work or volunteering, and other experiences that have been meaningful to you. I know that everyone will have at least a handful of activities to fill in their application, so you're going to want to select yes. And like I said, you could put up to 10 different activities. So let's fill out an activity together. Let's start with a sport. So under athletics here, you'll notice it says club and JV varsity. JV varsity is for a sport played at Saints. Club can be separate. And you can fill out both of these sections if you play a club sport and you play at Saints too. So let's do JV varsity. I found cross country here. Position, so if you have a captain position or a leadership position on the team, then you want to list that here. And if not, then you can just put athlete or maybe list the actual position you have in that sport, such as football or lacrosse. For cross country, I'll just go ahead and put varsity runner. Organization name, you'll either put the club name or Saints. And describe this activity. So there is a red star here, so you do have to write something down. So you have 150 characters that include spaces, so you don't have very much room to describe the activity. You could put, again, maybe the roles, the leadership roles that you've had, any accomplishments or championship games that you've won or titles, any recognition, MVP, things like that can go onto here. And then select the participating grades. If it's a sport during the school year, you'll select it. I know club sports typically go all year long. Clubs at Saints are usually going to be during the school year. If you had an internship, maybe that's during the school break. Hours spent per week and weeks spent per year are probably going to be the most annoying questions that you have on your entire common application. My advice for you would be to open up a calendar and possibly count out the weeks that you spend playing that sport or that you had the internship for. If it's something that's all school year, count all the weeks in the school year, and then you'll list those down for weeks spent per year. And hours spent per week, I know for some clubs, for example, might vary. Maybe you spend more time in a club during a particular month and less time throughout the year. Maybe you're fundraising during a particular month and it's kind of low key throughout the year, the rest of the year. The hours spent per week can be a little bit challenging to find. Really, you just got to have your best guess of an average hour spent per week. So just using a little bit of math, calculating those weeks, maybe figuring out big events and how many hours those typically take up, and then less hours in other weeks, and then find the average of that number. I know, for example, if you lead retreats, it's very heavy around the time that you're actually leading the retreat, and maybe you spend a little less time organizing and planning throughout the year. So you could even find your advisor or your coach if you need help with trying to figure out this information. And I intend to participate in a similar activity in college. You could choose yes or no. Be honest with this. And then you'll add another activity. So let's do another example. Let's do family responsibilities. So this could be if you have to maybe watch any brothers and sisters. Let's say you are in charge of a carpool and picking up other students that live near you. That could be a family responsibility that if you wanted to, you could add that onto your common application. And let's go ahead and look at some other options here. Art, career-oriented, like an internship or job shadowing, community service, computer technology. If even on your own time, let's say you learned coding, that could be an activity. Maybe it's not an official activity at Saints or with a college, but it's something that you enjoy and you spend a lot of time doing. You could even list that on your common application. Cultural, dance, debate and speech, environmental, foreign exchange if you've gone off for a foreign exchange program, foreign language program, internships, journalism if you're in yearbook or the newspaper, junior ROTC, LGBT, music if you play an instrument or you sing, anything that's religious with your church. If you've been a part of any research, maybe with a university or college, robotics, school spirit, that could be the pit. It could also be ASB, depending on your position. Science or math, social justice, student government, ASB. Theater drama, if you have a job, you can list that. And then any other club or activity, you can put that on here too. Trips, like maybe if you went to Italy or Guatemala during intersession, that could go on this section if you'd like to list that there. So take some time, pause the video, fill out this section to the best of your ability. And also I really recommend that you work with your counselor and have them review this section for you. Okay, so I'll just move on here. Oh, and there are arrows here that you can rearrange your activities. So normally a typical resume will be listed in reverse chronological order. However, in this section of the Common Application, my advice would be to list the activity that you maybe are more passionate about or spent the most time in. It doesn't necessarily need to be in any kind of reverse chronological order or any order other than maybe your favorite activities at the top, down to ones where maybe they were just a day community service activity. That could be at the bottom. Things like Eagle Scouts, Boy Scouts, they could all go in this section too. Continue. So moving on to the writing section. So you will have to check this box here that some colleges require submission of the personal essay with your common application. You may submit a personal essay to any college, even if it is not required by that college. If not required by a college, you'll be given the option during submission to include your essay or not for that college. So you click I understand. And then you choose which prompt you will be writing your essay on. And if you weren't in the college workshop this summer working on your essay, you will have a chance to work on your essay during your English class. So you'll choose your prompt, say this one. You will copy and paste the essay that is finalized and has been reviewed by a teacher or your counselor. You'll copy and paste that final version into this box here. You have up to 650 words in your essay. And then you'll press continue. And I will actually link some other videos helping you write your essay or gather ideas for the different Common App prompts. And those will be linked in the playlist. Disciplinary history, you need to fill this out, yes or no. Continue. Additional information. So there is a new question this year regarding COVID-19. So I'll go ahead and read it. Community disruptions such as COVID-19 and natural disasters can have deep and long-lasting impacts. If you need it, this space is yours to describe those impacts. Colleges care about the effects on your health and well-being, safety, family circumstances, future plans, and education, including access to reliable technology and quiet study spaces. For more information, check out this document. So if you would like to share anything on this topic, if you do feel that what happened last semester with COVID or during the summer, or possibly even now, has really affected you in some way or you and your family, then you can certainly share this information with the colleges. I'll go ahead and click on this so we can see what kind of things that they're talking about. So some examples here are illness or loss with your family, if anyone in your family got sick, employment or housing issues, if a family member maybe had to cut back in hours or they lost their job. Maybe even maybe you had a job lined up that was really important for the summer, and because of COVID, you no longer were able to have that job. Food insecurity, toll on mental and emotional health. That's something that certainly has happened to many people because of COVID and all the restrictions that we've had and the frustrations that were brought because of it. New obligations. So let's say you had to actually get a job because you needed to help your family out, and you were able to secure a job that wasn't part of the plan, or maybe taking care of your siblings because maybe your parents were essential workers. Availability of computer internet access. If second semester last year was hard for you to kind of complete because maybe you didn't have a printer, or your Wi-Fi connection wasn't very strong where you live, those kind of tech computer issues. Access to a safe and quiet study space. We know that learning at home created a whole slew of issues and complications. And a new direction for your major career interest. Maybe everything that happened during COVID-19 sparked a new interest for you, or you had some time to learn a new skill during quarantine, and now you're really into studying that major in college. Go ahead and share that feedback with the colleges. So basically anything that relates, whether either super positive, like maybe thinking of a new college major, or some negative things that happened because of COVID, you can share this information with colleges. But don't feel like you have to fill out the section if none of this applies to you. Okay, so the reps are pressed for time in reading your application, so you want to make sure that the information that you are giving them is relevant, is genuine, and helps your application. So I'll go back here to the Common App. And do you wish to provide details of circumstances or qualifications not reflected in this application? So this part here has always been a part of the Common Application, and this section you can choose to fill out if, let's say, you have a medical history to disclose that you chose not to write about in your essay. You can provide a few sentences. You don't need to go into detail, just a few sentences about that. Anything that has maybe happened during your time in high school, loss of a family member, moving from place to place, or transitioning from other high schools, anything that you feel is important for college reps to know, but it's not really showcased throughout the application. This is your spot to put that information. And I do recommend that you work with your counselor on this section to make sure that you're kind of conveying the message that you want to convey, and it's concise and to the point. This part's not an essay, it's more about just providing some basic information. So that is it for the bulk of the Common Application. There is one last section that I will point out. It's called Courses and Grades. So not every college has this section as a requirement. You can click the list of colleges here that do require this section. Not a very long list, but Arizona State is on there, and the University of Arizona, and those typically are popular colleges for our boys to apply to. So I will provide another video specifically going over this section of, let's go back to the Common App, of filling out the courses and grades, because it can be quite tricky. So that will be in a separate video. But that's it for the basic Common Application and filling it out. Email your counselor, call your counselor if you have any questions, and we are happy to help you review your Common Application before you submit it to a college.